The beauty of Sasquatch Canyon. This mountain right here near the mouth. A lot of times we hear wood knocks coming off of this mountain. And look, it's an overcast, cool day. So hopefully the animals are active during the day today. And that includes Bigfoot if they're in the canyon. It's Jen and I. We're gonna go back and service some cameras that we have not been able to get to for the last 3 years. And so there should be about 2 years of activity on those cameras. What an amazing place. And the reason we haven't been able to get back here for 3 years is a massive over 60,000 acre fire come through the area. And then several weeks after the fire come through, there was major flooding, landslides that just blocked everything off. And we're finally able to get back in here, at least this part of the canyon. And we have 3 cameras back in this section. We're on the north side of Sasquatch Canyon, and this canyon is only about 20 miles from Skinwalker Ranch, believe it or not. And I just paused for a moment because I thought I heard a wood knock, and she says it sounds more like something stepping on the undergrowth. But look what she found.
Something decided to rip this bush in half. I don't know.
That looks pretty violent.
Yeah, it's just been ripped in half. I'm too weak to do that, so.
Is that hair? No, it's just.
It's that,
It's like rot.
yeah, it's that black mossy crap. It was right there. Hook to that.
Look, you can tell it was like twisted and stuff.
Yeah.
It wasn't the wind just whipping it one direction and breaking it. I wonder if like an elk or a moose rammed through this, or if what we're looking for, if a squatch actually, you know, their snapping habit, if he just made that mess. I just got a skunky whiff. And I know the difference between a skunk, and when I say skunky, it's just that musky, stinky smell. It isn't a skunk, but I just got that smell. And we just found that weird break. This is a section that we have gotten a lot of vocalizations and wood knocks in the past. We've also cast footprints in this area. Keep our eye open. Definitely a nice cool day.
That's a cat poop.
We suspect that this is mountain lion. It's the right shape and everything, and then it scratched the ground right there, which bobcats and mountain lions will do. They'll poop and then they'll scratch, move on. Okay, we just serviced one of our cameras, the one that's the closest to the mouth. Now we're moving back in. We got probably another 3 miles to get to the other cameras, and I'm smelling something skunky. Torn off pine bough. Several years ago, like back in 2015, we found a ground nest of pine boughs that were snapped off, and the place, we named the place Lookout Canyon. People call them day watchers or something like that, and we think it may be a nest for day watchers. The way we found it is they'd left a trail of these leading up to it, and then there was a big old pile of them, like a gorilla nest. We found Bigfoot prints just outside below the nest. Actually, one of the footprints had broke through some very thin ice, like paper thin ice that had frozen on a puddle. And then we also found a handprint, looked like it was Bigfoot sized and shaped handprint on the wall of the slot canyon leading up to the nest. So, you know, are we going to find more evidence of another ground nest today? We're going to keep looking, see if this leads to something. Back on Valentine's Day, February of 2014, it was a mild winter, and Jenny and I come back in here looking around, and as a matter of fact, that day we found Bigfoot tracks in the snow. And when we got to this section here, up above us on these cliffs up here, we could hear a humanoid conversation going on. We weren't able to pick it up on the camera mic back then, but we could both hear it. It almost sounded like a different language, and it sounded like two creatures up there communicating back and forth. It was really weird. And so I like to show this section because that happened. There was nobody back in the canyon that day, no vehicles or anything, and these cliffs were covered in ice. And I just can't imagine someone walking a couple dozen miles without their vehicle and climbing up there just to have a conversation for Jenny and I to hear. And it definitely wasn't English. So yeah, I like to point out this section. And then the only evidence that we found that day was Bigfoot tracks. I'll put a link in the video to the Bigfoot tracks we found that day back here. Found what looks like a hind paw of a bear track. And I'm just gonna show you the hill of it here. And we have saw and filmed bears here, and I get excited when I see bear activity because I believe that just like the bear, Bigfoot's an omnivore, and so if the resources are here for the bear, there's the resources are here for the Bigfoot. This log is busted, but there used to be two logs here that made a perfect bridge from down here up on these cliffs for animals. And we saw evidence of bobcat use them. As a matter of fact, at the bottom of it, Jenny left a game camera one year, and we filmed the prettiest bobcat, or lynx, they're really closely related, that was using these logs to get up and down. So far today we have found evidence of mountain lion and bear. We're right in a section that's thick with rose hips, and the rose hip plants have thorns, and that's a good food source. Even people eat rose hips, and I think rose hips taste like a mix between a cucumber and a tomato. And those are two veggies and fruits that I love.
There's more snacks. Oh, look at these two trees.
Oh my heck. Look where that one snapped and how thick it was snapped. And I just want to point out, they have the cover of larger trees. I just don't think this was snow load. Maybe old Squatch telling us to stay on the trail. Look how thick it is here, guys.
That right there is where we cast the footprint.
That was where we casted the almost 19-inch footprint, isn't it, Jan?
Yeah, and right there we had left a rock stack for it, and we came back down, and it had been rearranged into a different rock stack, and then the footprint was here. Well, footprints.
I'm gonna look where the track was.
It was right.
It was in this creek bed. There was several of them, and one of them was nice enough that we cast it. Heading right up the dry wash. This washes dry most of the year, but we've come up when it's had a lot of water in it too.
It's usually just spring runoff.
Yeah, up in the area that we call the Bigfoot Highway, there's some fresh mountain water springs. We have just seen dozens, maybe even hundreds of Bigfoot tracks coming in and out of that area, and they're probably using the water source is why we see the tracks up there. So we keep a couple of game cameras around those springs, hoping we can get lucky and get a Squatch to give us a selfie.
There's the huge squirrel cache.
We walked up on a bear at nighttime digging in this cache. It's a popular cache for a squirrel or squirrels. Here's some rock stacking. I'm not quite sure if that's a new one or an old one. This little section by this waterfall, we're always finding rock stacks. And I have found tracks right at the pool at the bottom of this, so I want to look again. That right there is the only rock stack that I know was man-made. I watched Mark Crooks make it. As a matter of fact, there was a rock stack right there, and he restacked the rocks. He reshuffled them around, and Jenny just took a photo of it so we can make comparisons and see if it got shuffled again by something besides us and Mark Crooks. Yeah, hi Mark.
There's another cat scratch at the top of the waterfall. We were just down there, and that's the base of the waterfall. And there's one more up ahead of us.
We've been followed by mountain lions.
Right here.
Jenny and 3 other dudes got followed by a mountain lion back here one night. We come back at night to service a camera, and we come back at night because Bigfoot's supposedly active at night. And a big old mountain lion followed us around for about a quarter mile, just kept coming closer and everything. And I think he's the same big Tom that we got on game camera when I was camping back here with Stroud. Oh.
I don't know what that is.
It's pretty big. Let me step beside it. I weigh 200, and that's all I squished. It weighs more than me.
I think it's a bear.
Yeah, if it was a Bigfoot, it would be a juvenile. It's actually, yeah, I think it's a hind print of a bear. We have saw where a bear rolled over a rock right here.
It's that rock.
Yeah, we saw where a bear rolled over a rock and was eating the ants under it. So
it used to sit right here in the square.
Here's another piece of the bear.
Wow.
Yeah, you can kind of see some of his claws. You can see one of his claws right here.
Oh, goodness.
That's a good sized black bear.
It's big.
That back track looks like it's 10 inches, and his little front paw right here, let's see. Yeah, that's 7 inches. That's a big bear.
Yay.
Yep, we're back here with bears and lions. Now we need to find Squatch. The trail we're trying to follow, ranchers used to free range here, and they used to come in and clean it up and everything, but it's really dangerous back here. A lot of cliffs that are certain death if you slide off. And we've talked to a lot of ranchers that just don't even bring their cattle back here anymore.
This is another big, huge squirrel cache down in there.
Plus, some of the ranchers have complained that their cattle have died of strange circumstances back here.
Oh yeah.
But here's a gate that and a fence they built to keep their cattle from coming back to the dangerous section. It's been exactly 3 years since we've been able to get here. We have 2 game cameras that are really efficient with the batteries, and there's a good chance that those batteries lasted 2 years. So we may have some cool stuff. We'll definitely show what we found on those cameras at the end of this video. I showed you guys that pine bough earlier. Now look at all of these broken off pine boughs in a big stack under this fallen tree. You can see the tree fell at the roots right there. Now, I was wondering if it maybe stripped off of this tree up here, but I don't see branch break-offs on this tree. So, and these are fresh and green, so I don't know if we're finding evidence of a gorilla-style ground nest, or if this dead tree that fell over at the roots caused this. One benefit of searching for Bigfoot, it seems a lot of the places the people see the creature are just gorgeous. Gotta watch the ridge lines once in a while. They call them ridge walkers. They usually stay on the high ground, but I know for a fact they come down into these washes and riverbeds to eat in the spring. A lot of people run into them in the willows. What's bizarre?
Do you see that? That wasn't there before. It's like that.
Oh, it's a cave.
It's a square cave. It's like something was leaning up against it, that square piece, and it just tipped over and opened up.
Let me zoom in for the viewers. Yeah, it's like it had a
door on it.
And now, see that slab that's laying at the front? Yeah, we've been coming back here for
years.
Yeah, 8 to 10 years, and we've never noticed that cave before. So.
And we filmed the whole side of this mountain.
Yeah, it's like it had a door. A stone door. I just don't see myself scaling that cliff wall. I'm not part Spider-Man. I'm not a rock climber. I am not gonna die trying to find Bigfoot, so you're not gonna catch me scaling that cliff wall to get up to that cave. We'll just keep an eye on it from over here.
You don't want your face ripped off?
Nope.
I don't know what it was.
Did you see something large moving?
No, but see how there's a hill right here? I saw something move on the other side of the hill.
I'll film and walk up.
Thank you. Oh, careful. Whoa, point the camera down there.
Where I almost fell?
Yeah.
Yep. I stepped on a rock that rolled underneath me and I started going that direction.
No bueno.
Yep. This is a choke point. We have found 14 and 17 inch Bigfoot tracks coming down and drinking at this part of the creek in the past. Did you hear that vocalization?
Yes, I sure did. That was a big man voice. Oh, like that.
Shh, shh. I heard it again. There's something vocalizing the direction that we need to go. It sounded almost Bigfoot-like. I'm gonna see if anything's stepped in or around this creek. That I'm just not seeing anything that stands out today. All right, we gotta head a couple more miles in. We're going the direction we heard the vocalizations. This is a pretty good microphone, but
I don't know.
I don't know if it will
I
pick
think
it
you're-
up.
I think you're right here by the water, but that was loud, and I heard that, and that was definitely something or somebody.
Well, when we review the footage, I'll see if I can hear it. That vocalization that we heard twice makes you wonder if the family of Squatch that uses this area are here today, and one of them detected that we were coming back, and it's a warning call to the group.
Where that falcon flew right by us.
We've also found a salamander here before too.
These trees have all grown up and we can't.
Look, look, there goes an owl.
Is that an owl?
Yeah. Hopefully the camera saw that. He was really close and now just flew over us. Jenny was just talking about how we had a falcon. He come within a couple of feet of us right here. Woo. Derek got him on his GoPro as it zipped past us. Looks like a popular place for birds of prey right here.
Yeah, we've found a salamander right here.
I'm sure that they get little animals that come out in the open to drink right here. Pretty cool seeing an owl in the daytime.
Yeah. Right here.
Looks like a bear track.
Yeah.
He must have got a drink and crossed right here.
There's nowhere else to cross.
Wonder if it's the same bear that we've saw his tracks a couple of times. We've caught a lot of different bears on game camera here, and then last year out in the main canyon we filmed a cinnamon colored black bear. We call him the strawberry black bear.
I'm getting like this weird,
Like we're being watched.
just like here is as far as we should go, but that's
Yep.
not the case.
We need to go another mile or two to get to those cameras. We're going to the Bigfoot Highway in Sasquatch Canyon. Look, these here is rose hips, people, and there's some from last year, and some of them still look edible, and some of them have dried up like raisins. And they're starting to bud. They're gonna produce brand new ones here soon. That waterfall freezes over in the winter and just gets crazy. But we got another mile or so. We got to hike back there.
We have to get up there.
There's still ice at the waterfall.
Oh wow, yeah. Oh, I can see where the water's coming down. It's just plapping at the bottom.
Something removed a rock from here recently. I just don't see the rock around, which is weird to me. A bear would claw the rock out of the hole and it would be laying somewhere nearby because it would be getting ants and grubs underneath, but it's like something pulled this up out of the hole and walked off with it.
We're on top of the waterfall from where we were down below.
This is the last kind of clear spot before you start hitting dense forest again. And Derek nicknamed this area Mirkwood, and it's a fitting name. A lot of times when we enter the dark forest there, we get wood knocks. I mean, just like a pro baseball player, whap, hitting a home run. I have heard when we've entered that before, and we have found dozens, if not hundreds, of Bigfoot tracks just beyond this thick area. There's a canyon that goes off that way that we call the Land of the Giants, and then the canyon that goes off of that way past this Mirkwood section are some mountaintop springs, and we named a section the Bigfoot Highway because we've just over the last 10 years have found dozens, if not hundreds, of Bigfoot tracks that cross through there, and I have a feeling they're going down to those freshwater springs for a drink. We're gonna go in, service some cameras. Hopefully there's about 2 years of footage. We'll put whatever's interesting on there at the end, even if we don't get the home run and get Bigfoot. It's a look into the world of Bigfoot. This is a Bigfoot sighting hotspot. It was nicknamed Sasquatch Canyon in the 70s by hunters because there were so many sightings and footprints found here, and it's a fitting name. About 3 years ago, in just one season, there was 2 Bigfoot sightings in this area, and it lives up to its name, so we keep the tradition and call this area Sasquatch Canyon. Here's some elderberry bushes, and look, they've been pruned. The elk, the deer, probably the moose, maybe even Bigfoot, they will eat the plant down after the fruits are gone. Great food source. Just tons of these bushes. Look, these ones are starting to bud and sprout. And I'll bet you pruning them back this way, nature's way of pruning, probably increases the yield of elderberries. And here's some old dried up elderberries that didn't get eaten last season. I mean, those are shriveled up big time. They're probably about 5 times bigger than what those dried up ones are. But that's weird. I never see any fruits left behind on these plants. They usually get eaten all away. There's a lot of damage to the ground through here. I'm not able to make out exactly. Looks like a flat-footed animal. I don't know how many flat-footed animals or how many species of them in the world. And it doesn't look like someone's shoe, so it's just not definitive enough to call it Bigfoot, but it's suspect. There's another one. Another one. That one's Bigfoot shaped.
Oh boy.
Yeah, look.
Yeah.
There's the heel. It goes up to the toe section up here. I'm actually going to measure this one. Seventeen in length.
It's big.
Okay, we traditionally find one that has 17-inch tracks, another one with 14, and another one with almost 19 back here. So this one's 17 in length. And then let's get the width up at the toes. The width up at the toes is just about 8 inches. Let me get this stick out of the way so I can get a better measurement. Oh. Yeah, it's 8 up at the toe splay. And back at the heel, where it rounds back, is just about 6. That, you know, I'm not saying that's a Bigfoot track. I don't know what made it.
Look how deep it is.
But it's the dimensions of a Bigfoot. Yeah, it even smashed this.
Yeah, it
in
crushed.
it crushed it.
Yeah, it crushed it.
It crushed that piece of stick. Crazy.
It is.
All right, well, that's the first definitive track.
This tree broke off right here across the trail. And it was laying up there. Okay? But now it's standing up right here. Just standing up and leaned up against that tree up there. I don't know.
Good eye.
It's pretty heavy. I don't know how. And see, here's the other footprints that we're seeing. Right here. Right here.
Yeah, they weren't definitive, but they seem to be related to the one that we just measured.
Right here. Right there. All around this big, huge stump that's been picked up off the trail and sat right there. And then leaned up there. It's just bizarre.
Yeah, we're in Bigfoot country. Keep your guys' eyes peeled. The camera don't blink. We may miss something. You guys see something hide or scurry away from us, please let us know.
We used to sit on this log and eat lunch right here. And it's all dug up. And every once in a while you can see these big claw digs.
Yeah, I think it was probably a bear that dug into it, unless that's a Bigfoot fingernail. But yeah, the log is rotted enough, it's starting to get grubs, ants, termites in it, and more than likely a bear's been digging into it to get the yummies. Yum yum, as my grandson would say. Elk track, Bigfoot food. It's a lot of ground disturbance right here. I don't know what it is. It's not definitive to say what animal made all this. That area, the first time we went back into it, Jenny backtracked 14, and the one that leaves the 19-inch, close to 19-inch, they seem to be hanging out together. They come out of that area from the Bigfoot highway where the spring is. Jenny backtracked them back into there. We nicknamed it the Land of the Giants.
There's a structure back there too. A couple of them.
Yep, there's a structure, and we have a game camera back there we're gonna
go get.
Yep. And hopefully it has 2 years worth of footage on it for us. I'd love to see some changes to the structure. This is an area we typically find lots of Bigfoot tracks. I mean, not every single time we come up here, but quite often. So we're gonna scour this clearing. It seems to be a great place where they cross.
That looks like a big, flat, barefooted footprint, but it doesn't necessarily look like.
It's hard to make out the dimensions.
Yeah, I don't know what makes the. That's just a weird thing. I don't know what that is.
Look, there's a new break.
Yeah.
Over there. That looks like a track. We know there's a juvenile with what we think's a family. We see the one that has the 19 with the 14 all the time. There was one year, several years ago, where once in a while we would find some 7-inch tracks, like the female's carrying a youngster and setting it down, and then a year later its tracks were 8 inches. So when I see something that's a little bit bigger than my 12-inch foot, it makes me wonder if that juvenile has grown to that size and is leaving a 13-inch track. That means his track's almost as big as his mother's, if that's it. Yeah, this is a new snap-off. Not saying Bigfoot did it. We're just in a Bigfoot sighting hotspot where we find so many tracks. This is snapped and pointed towards the trail that we often use to come in and out of this area. This is where Les Stroud, his son, and I camped on a Bigfoot expedition several years ago. This is where we pitched our backpacking tents. Right, here's the camera. It's the first time I've saw that camera in 3 years. These other couple of cameras are over by what may in fact be a Bigfoot teepee style structure, territorial marker. One of the reasons why we leave cameras there if the Bigfoots build them, maintain them, or whatever, maybe we'll get lucky and capture them coming in or out of the structure area. I'm really excited to show you guys what we find on those at the end of this. Okay, heading in towards the structure. Appears to be Bigfoot track shaped, and it even drove its toes into the hillside right there. I don't know where the hill ends. I think the hill of the creature was hanging off somewhere. It was using more of the front of the mid-tarsal. But that's a good 7-8 inches wide up there at the toe splay. And I want to point out the structure. There's the structure that we keep an eye on and keep cameras near, and we'll get those serviced. Alright, I want to show you guys that structure. It is so hard to get back into this structure area. Just thick, crazy stuff. But yeah, we've already checked the base of these. Most of these have been relocated and put up in a host tree. And then, can you guys see the camera? I'll zoom in for you guys. We have not seen that camera for 3 years. We'll show you what's on it at the end of this video. Keep on watching. We're going to keep on squatching. All right, we're out of here. Jenny and I sat down and had a Lunchable right here, the structure area. It's a nice peaceful area. It's hard to get in and out of. You know, if Bigfoot does indeed make these, and it actually made this one to mark a territory, it may like the area, because I just don't think people come back in here. There's no evidence of people really coming in and out of here either. We're going to continue to keep an eye on this structure and other territorial structures that we have found in Sasquatch Canyon. We're hiking out after servicing some game cameras, and Jenny just pointed out something that wasn't here on the way up.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
I mean, did that just randomly fall there, or is that a gift? That's the second time the same type of feather. The last time was when we was hiking up on Palisades and we found all those Bigfoot tracks. There was a spot feather just like that. Left it right where we crossed, or it was laying where it crossed. So, I mean, did it gift if a Bigfoot's here?
Or did it fall out of a bird?
That's right. What do you think? Is it?
It looks like it's going to at least clear everything. It looks like it's got a good angle.
I feel like
I mean, I'm not